Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Sarah, Melissa Clark said she did the registering, but she still didn't get a link. And Karen's saying that too.
I don't know what to say. I messaged it to both of them, so I'm not quite sure.
Okay. How was your day, Terri?
It was great. The different days, like you start out in the morning, it's all that fog and you feel it's overcast, and then all of a sudden the sun breaks through in the afternoon and it's like it's a totally new day.
I know it was.
It's
like summer.
Yeah, it was like summer today. That's the only thing, you don't know how to dress when you get up in the morning. It's like, it's a little cool. No, it's warm. Because you look all summery there, girl.
I know, it was so hot. I was outside cutting down my flowers, and I got cut up from my roses, which I'm not a fan of roses. I didn't plant them, but they have to be cut down. So
yeah, we have roses as well, but I chop them when I just have the urge. I all of a sudden just go out and chop them. I know I probably don't chop them properly, prune them properly, or anything, but just when I feel like it.
Hi, everybody that's popping on. As you come in, how about if you find the chat feature and you say hello, maybe tell us the last oil that you used, and share with us why you are here, what you are hoping to gain from this evening. I'm gonna go get an oil. I just got off a 2-hour-long Zoom chat with working some stuff out with my son's co-op, but it ended wonderfully. So that is what it's all about. We came to a good agreement with that. So I'm feeling good now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right.
Did you use what Kids Power? Is that what you had? What you
love that one. I should go find that one. That is my favorite. Yes, I used it prior, but it's been a long time now, 2 hours. Let me see.
I'm diffusing Envision. I'm using motivation and abundance.
Oh, Denise, I'm still using your little sample of strength and balance.
Oh, nice.
All right, and I am taking all the frankincense and putting it on.
Motivation, abundance, and I'm diffusing Envision. Thought it went well with what we're going to talk about.
Absolutely. So Heather says peppermint for migraine central. I hope you feel better soon, Heather. Karen is using Aroma Ease, just came in your ER order. I love that one. I think it smells so good. So good. And Melanie has Stress Away, hoping to find some tools to help her be motivated, but also to help her college freshman who is struggling right now. Denise, you just shared. Renee said that she's going to slather on some Valor, and she took her mineral essence capsules. Oh, I know that Sarah Stutzman, she's on here. She swears by mineral essence as well.
Yes, love it.
How are you? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just put frankincense on, and I'm going to do Kid Power too.
I'm doing Gary's Light. Love that one.
I'm just letting everybody kind of pop in right now. And Renee says that she is feeling stuck. Does anybody else feel stuck right now in one way or another? I have some heads nodding. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
You are in the right place. You're in the right place. And we're going to start in approximately 1 minute. If you are just popping in, I would love for you to just say, hey. Ooh, some genius. Yes. My son and I apply that every day in the car now. Guys, I cannot get over this Kid Power. I know I was talking about it, but seriously, I am obsessed with it. Oh, so thank you so much, Terri, for reminding me. I'm like, wait, I should grab that one. Sarah, have you smelled this one yet?
No, but I'm like, processed my order today. sooner than then it goes out. And I was like, darn, I forgot to put that on, but it's okay. I'll get it.
I don't know if it was because I grew up in the city. I grew up in the inner city, and I went to the corner store all the time. Like, I would just ask for $1 and I would run down to the corner store and get anything that I could, like penny candy wise. I ate a lot of candy growing up. Now that I think about it, I'm like, holy cow. But they always had the freezer with ice pops in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they had like the old school vanilla ice pops, the creamsicles, and oh my gosh, like all different types of ice pops. And creamsicles were my jam. Like, I loved them. So when I smell this, I don't know, it does make me feel like I have freedom with $1 in my pocket, running down to the store, getting so many random things like creamsicles and pork grinds and other things that would just make me so sick if I ate them today.
Did they have Chico sticks?
Yes, Chico sticks. I was just thinking of them. The Chico sticks. What the heck were they? They were like coconutty, weird. You couldn't tell if they were stale or not because they were super hard. What did you guys eat when you were kids? This is so random. I'm just letting the last people in. What was your like, I got this when you were, I don't know, grade school? What did you love to munch on? This is the most random way that I've ever started a workshop. I'm sorry.
Well, it's so funny you're talking about that, and I'm like, I remember the penny store. It was like Swedish fish and red hot dollars, like those, and they were just like, I'm thinking now they'd be pulling out my fillings.
That's
like,
so funny just to think about that.
Yeah.
We have exactly like creamsicle. Okay, pixie sticks, yes.
Oh my God, sugar highs, yes.
Yeah, right? Ridiculous. Costa's Candy Club sandwich. I'm gonna have to Google that, Melanie. That was a foreign language to me.
Fun dip. Oh my Lord, yeah.
Fun dip.
My mom didn't let us have any of that.
Oh my gosh.
Very smart woman.
Okay, Melanie, when we're done, real talk, send me whatever you're talking about because I'm quite interested in that.
I'm looking it up.
Are you? Peanut butter, bread, and milk. Denise, you didn't see any like sugary goodness. I would literally go to the penny candy store and fill up a bag. It was by the honor system too at the one store. You would just go and take scoops and put them into a bag and then just be like, there's this little store called Henry's. And you would tell Henry, hey, I have 50 cents. And he'd be like, okay, no problem. And then you just leave with like this whole bag of sugary dyed.
I lived in the country, so it was only at grandma's house that like a little candy section that we could go. And how about peanut chews? Did anybody?
I loved a good peanut chew.
My dad always had those around. Yeah.
Well, let's get started. If you see me looking off to the corner, it's because I'm going to just let people pop in. If anybody's having issues, you can have them message me direct and I can try my absolute best to help to guide them to get into the call. And besides that, oh my gosh, Tammy says candy cigarettes, wax bottles, and gobstoppers. Tammy, you are my spirit animal when it comes to candy. I ate all of that. I thought, candy cigarettes were the coolest, which says a lot about marketing for my generation. All right, we're going to move on because that is a huge thing that is still an issue today. Not so much with my generation, but for our children's generation. So Terri Hill, Success Coach Terri Hill is here. And the first time that I met her through an educator on our wellness team who is Denise Natalie, who is fabulous as well. And she said, you have got to meet my friend. You have got to meet Terri. And we popped in on a Zoom call together. And within like a moment, I just knew that I was going to love her. She has this energy about her in her space. And she exudes this also on her Facebook page as well. That is just all about positivity. It's all about encouragement. It's all about motivation. And it's also like no nonsense. It is just like, no, this is the way that it is, which is all positive. And I don't know, I'm really attracted to it. I really am. I feel good watching it. And there's a lot of places that are not those types of places right now. So I just want to say thank you to Terri for offering that space to women specifically, like just a place of empowerment, a place of encouragement as well. And she can do a brief introduction in just a moment. But as soon as I knew, she had shared with me that she had done a certification through Bob Proctor. How many of you know Bob Proctor, have watched videos, have, seen his work at all? Anybody out there? Raise a hand, give it in the comments, or let me know if Bob Proctor is like, you're Googling it right now. Just let me know too. Because Bob Proctor, I adore him. I adore his mindset. I adore his philosophies. And when she said that, I was like, this was meant to happen. So Terri is here to offer motivation to our community in a big way with this specific topic of the knowing doing gap. And I am so pumped to learn from her. And if you have anyone who was unable to get on the call tonight, there will be a link that is that will be made available after the call that you can feel free to send out to, because this is gonna just kick some booties in gear, which is all we need. So without further ado, Terri Hill, thank you so much. If you can please lead us and shine upon us all your wisdom, I would love that.
Oh, you set the bar kind of high. So let me bring it down just a notch. First of all, I am so grateful for Sarah and Denise to invite me on. I want to just quickly comment. I've been on 2 calls prior to this to listen to your Young Living group in your community, and you have such a fabulous, supportive group. I am the first non-Sarah to present that I have witnessed, because I think Sarah Stutzman presented, then Sarah Long presented, and now Terri. So it's totally, I know I don't belong. I feel like Sesame Street, one of these things doesn't belong here, but that's who I am. In addition to using strength and valor before I came on, I just have to show, I put on my shoes, these really cool shoes that my husband bought me. Oh yeah, I love them.
Wow.
I was envying or looking at somebody that had these on out at a restaurant, and my husband bought them for me. So I'm very lucky, and I'm wearing them sitting down, so that's even better. So as Sarah had shared with you, I've studied under Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor, I got to know him through The Secret. So if any of you have ever seen or heard about, read The Secret, raise your hand, say something. But The Secret was where I learned about Bob, and for some reason, his style of communication really just resonated with me. And I've followed him since I started that. So that was back in like 2007. So I've just adored Bob since then. Bob is now 86 years old, still going strong. I go to trainings once or twice a year, and he is there, and he is actively engaging with all of the consultants around the world. So he is still going strong. It's wonderful. So one of the things that I've learned over my time as a consultant, and it's been about 2 years, but I've been doing this full time since February. So I did this, started right before COVID, good timing. So I went full time doing this. Prior to that, I had been in marketing and sales for 25 years. So that's kind of where I was. I did start as a teacher, which I know Sarah was a teacher as well. So I started as a teacher and went into sales and marketing. But the knowing doing gap, I always found so interesting, especially coming from education, because in education, the way we were taught to be teachers is, you have the kids learn from the book, and you teach them on what you test them on what you teach, right? They take an exam, they basically tell you what they learned from that, and you gave them a grade and they move on. So we are conditioned in our young life that we learn something, get tested, and we move on. But what you learn over time is that just learning is not enough, right? Just learning that information doesn't necessarily equate to success in life. That there is a time for action, and a lot of times school doesn't necessarily tell you how to enact or do anything with the material that you're learning. Not intentionally, it's just they don't have time to necessarily address it. And what I witnessed, especially when I was out in the business world and I was selling to a lot of business owners, it was one of those phenomena where I saw a lot of people that were extremely successful, that weren't good students, that admittedly didn't do well in school, And then I knew a lot of really, really, really bright people that really did nothing with their life. I don't know, has anybody else seen anybody like that, where like they're so bright, yet they kind of don't have it together, you know, it's all in their head. And it makes you really curious as to why is that so? What is it that causes this discrepancy? Because you kind of thought as a teacher, especially, hey, the better you did in school, the better you're going to do in life. There's a definite reaction to that. There's a definite cause and effect. Well, there's a belief system we have in our minds that kind of is our filter, that even though we know something, we don't necessarily know to do the right thing. We don't necessarily do it. Something holds us back. For example, how many of us have started the new year with some really great goals? We come up, we say, hey, we're gonna do this. Maybe we're gonna lose some weight. This is the year, right? I remember 2020, when I went into 2020, man, 2020, I loved it. I'm like, this 2020 is my year, darn it. And I'm going to make this the year to count. It had such a great ring to it. Yeah. Okay. So I started out the year really, really on a certain path and had a certain trajectory in mind. It didn't quite handle or go that way. But a lot of us, weight management is something that we all kind of start with. And then if you talk to any person who owns a gym, a lot of people sign up December, January, they no longer show up in February. They last a month, right? But what you know is, if you ask anybody, what is the secret to, you know, controlling your weight? It's really quite simple, right? You eat less and you move more. That's all it is. But we all search for more information. We're all looking for that silver bullet. We all look for the next, what is the next new diet that's going to be better? We all look for what is the better activity that we need to do? What is it? Is it going to be Zumba? Is it going to be HIIT? Is it going to be, what is it? And we know what to do, but we just don't do it. We know what to do, but we just don't do it. So when I was in sales, and I think sometimes it's really wise to not know too much when you go into a job, by the way. If you've ever gone into a job not knowing it, it's very wise. And why? Because you are very open to suggestions and things to do. So when I went into sales, I had no sales experience. I was at Y102. Anybody listen to or remember Mike and Dave in the morning? Anybody remember Mike and Dave? I worked with Mike and Dave in the morning. Woo! I remember I worked with both those people. And I was a salesperson there, and I wanted to learn. So they were telling me, in order to succeed in sales in this business, you had to make 30 phone calls a day. You had to have 3 appointments every day. You had to make 3 new appointments every day, and you had to do 1 proposal a day. They had a formula, and it was something, here you go. Me being new, I followed it like it was the Bible. It's written in stone. It's the only way to go. We were graded on it. If you can believe that. They kept track of us, and every Monday morning we got a grade of how we succeeded, how many phone calls we made, how many appointments we kept, and everything. We all got that. And I followed it verbatim because I didn't know not to, or I just didn't know how to do the job. There were other salespeople there that I was told later on that really didn't follow it, that were more seasoned and never followed it. They came in from another sales job and they just didn't follow the formula and didn't do it. So sometimes not knowing, going into something, you are more open to learning something new than going in with some preconceived notion that you already have an idea of how to go forward. And then you start to question. There's a belief in your head. There's something in your thought that keeps you closed to that idea. Well, yeah, I know they want me to make those 5 proposals, but you know what? I know better than that. I don't need to talk to 5 people. I only need to talk to 3. I know I'm better than that. No, we start to question things, and that's not necessarily the best thing for us. So sometimes knowing hurts us. But a lot of times what it is just our belief system. we can try to control our actions so many times, and it's not sustainable. I don't know about you guys. Has anybody gone to trainings like I've gone to sales trainings, lots of sales trainings. They've given me some really great ideas. I come all the way, all pumped up, and I'm gonna rule the world, and it tells me to do something every day. And I start it, and I am dedicated. And then yes, Renee, you do nothing, right? Then you stop. Why do you stop? What keeps you from persisting? What keeps you from persisting? So there's a couple things. A lot of it is all in our head. I'm sure you guys know that. But as much information as we take in with our conscious mind, everybody familiar with conscious and subconscious mind? So our conscious mind takes in all the knowledge. Our subconscious mind holds our beliefs and our emotions that we have, inconsistencies. There's so many things that our subconscious mind does, takes the information, it basically acts like a filter. It's a program that takes the information and runs it through the program. Does it align with my belief system? If you don't believe exercising in the morning is going to help you get to your goal, you're not going to exercise in the morning. If you don't believe that eating vegetables every meal of the day is going to help you get to your goal, you're not going to eat vegetables. If for some reason there's some kind of belief in your head, it's going to keep you from doing the actions that you may say logically will get you there, but it's not going to get you there. Now, changing those beliefs takes a lot of things. There are two ways to change it. One is an emotional impact. Something really strong happens. Usually, for a lot of people, it's unfortunately a health issue. If it's coming to a change in your behavior that way, there's a health issue. For me, one of the big impacts in my life, well, actually, there's a couple, but I had a fire where I lost everything in my house. And that really made me pivot and change things I was doing. Because things I had been done before, I couldn't be doing at that point in my life. I also got divorced in 2004. That was another pivot point for me where I had to adjust things. Those were emotional impacts. But hopefully and gratefully, we don't have to go through emotional impacts in order to change things in our life. It's through repetition. And I'm sure you've all heard it. In order to make a habit stick, you need to do it. That some people say 21 days. I say at least 30. And if you can, it's 90 days. It's 90 days out. Like it takes, if you think about an exercise program, 30 days, you're starting to get in a groove. 60 days, you're starting to feel a little better. By 90 days, you are really seeing that impact of that exercise program. At that point, you're probably going to feel funny if you don't exercise, if you don't follow through on that. If you start walking every day and you stop day 91, you're going to feel it and you're going to notice it. So it's repetition. But it's a lot of our beliefs, and we all have different beliefs, people. You know, how you were raised has a strong impact on how you internalize and take the actions that you need to take. Okay, so the way you were raised, what you heard in school, if for some reason, and this is, you know, God help teachers, because I don't think we realized in the classroom what impacts we had. So if we, for some reason, might have made a student feel like they were dumb, right? That they didn't understand something, and they perceived that they were dumb in a subject, like they weren't good at math. Say they weren't good at math. They started this self-fulfilling prophecy. They're not going to work at math because they're not good at math, makes them not good at math because they're not working at math. And it just is that spiral effect. And it might have been something as simple as one concept that they didn't get. It could have been something as they had a bad day and they didn't test well that day. It could have been something as simple as sometimes the teacher and the student just aren't on the same page and they're not able to really understand things. But if you think back to some of your school experiences, there may have been something in school where you heard you may not have done well in something, and it doesn't indicate, or it wasn't meant to be a decisive thing, like an absolute, like you're not good at this subject. You could be if you had the right motivation. You could be if you had the right teacher. But that was just a measuring tool at that point in time. So please don't let any of those experiences, and it's hard not to, because we have been conditioned to believe that over the course of many years. So what I wanted to, I'm looking at the time, 8:24. I wanted to make sure that, look, she's shaking her head no.
I chatted about candy and weird things for like 10 minutes, so you're good.
But that was important. That was important. Candy and weird things was very important. So there's a couple things that I wanted to touch on. So you really don't necessarily need to learn more to be able to do more, have more, or be more. You already know, and I'm betting, I would bet all the money I have in the world that each of you know what you have to do, or you want to do, or you could choose to do to make a difference in your life. You know what it is, you're just not doing it. So it's not necessarily that you need to acquire new information at this point. It's just basically doing something that you know. Now, I also have on here some of the things that trying harder, and I'll go back to the I'll give you two little things that you guys can work on that will help you, that you already know to do, that can help you get started. But I do want to touch on persistence and purpose really quickly. So I said in my little summary that I was going to dismiss the trying harder is the key to success. Because I don't know about you, how many of you have thought in your head, if I just try harder, I will do better, right? Has anybody else thought that? If I just try harder, I will do better. Well, I want to give an image to you guys. Okay, so think of, have you ever been in your house and you've seen a fly, and that fly is on your window, and that fly is trying its darndest to try to go through the window. It keeps hitting against the window and hitting against the window and hitting against the window, and it's trying to get out and escape. And you know, as you're watching that fly, no matter how hard that fly tries, that fly is never going to get through that window. Never, ever going to get through that window. But you also know, if that fly were smart enough, you have a door open over here. So if that fly would just turn around, it could fly to freedom by just pivoting and moving in the other direction, right? So there are times when we are trying so hard, we are ignoring some other ways to get to our destination. I shared with Denise, I used to look at these times when I was hitting the wall, as I would look at it as the universe was telling me I was totally wrong in what I was trying to do. And I would go back to square one and I'd start all over again. Instead of just turning around and seeing if there was another way to do it, I would just give up. Now, this is how much I've learned. I just give up, and I would go back and I go, oh, well, obviously that idea wasn't a good idea. Let me try another idea, but not another idea how to get to the same goal. I'd come up with a whole different goal, and I'd start all over again, and I'd hit another wall, and I would do the same thing. Obviously, I'm not going in the right direction, and I would go back and I'd say, well, that idea and that goal was wrong. I must go to another goal. Whew. I did that for quite a few years. Thankfully, I've learned that basically all I needed to do was look around and see another way around. See if I could just go around my barrier that kept me, go over the barrier, go under the barrier, turn around, maybe go in another direction. But there's ways to do it. So trying harder and keep pushing the same way is not necessarily the way to go. If it's not working, insanity, remember the definition of insanity. Definition of insanity is if you keep doing the same thing and expect the same results, right? Keep trying the same thing, doing the same thing, expecting different results. So got to look at that again. And the idea of having willpower. Bob Proctor talks about willpower in a totally different way. He talks about willpower being focused. So you being focused on a goal, not necessarily like you're, oh, I'm going to try harder. It's a focus. It's having a focus on a goal. But focus is also persistence. And persistence, I found there's a high correlation with purpose. So think about this. If I said to you, I want to lose 10 pounds, and the reason I want to lose 10 pounds is because, you know, my jacket's just feeling a little funky, you know, kind of. So I just want to, you know, I think 10 pounds would kind of take care of that. On the other hand, I said, you know what, I want to lose 10 pounds because I have a class reunion coming up and I want to kick arse gorgeous. So when I go there and really just look awesome, which one would be more motivating to me? Just kind of fit in my jacket, or because I want to go to a class reunion, right? So not saying that the class reunion is the purpose, is the greatest purpose in the world, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of a nice, you know, I think people can relate to that. So your purpose, the reason you're doing it is going to be driving your persistence. If you have a big purpose, if there's a reason you're doing it, if you're very passionate about why you're doing it, you're going to stick with it. If it's kind of, it'd be nice if I did it, you know, it'd be okay if I did it, you're not going to stick with it. So your persistence is directly correlated. So if you're seeing that there's a lack in your persistence, I would look at your goal and why you want to do it and say, hey, is this really what I want to do? And it's okay if it's not. Just pick a new goal. Pick something that you're passionate about. The more passionate about it you are, the more reasons you want to do it, the more persistent you will be. So my promise to you guys was to leave you with two easy things, and they're very general things that you guys can start to get you a little bit closer to where you want to go. And one of them I know you all do. Okay, so the first one is gratitude. How many people do gratitude every day? Come on, I know more of you do gratitude. I'm sure. Okay. So for the people who do gratitude every day, how many people write their gratitude down? Okay. Oh, look. So I challenge you to take your gratitude up a notch. Okay. Write your gratitude every day. Write 5 things you're grateful for every day. Now, what I want you to do with these 5 things is for 21 days, which is 3 weeks, do not repeat the 5 things you're grateful for. Do not repeat. It will really cause you to dig deep. I mean, I get so, it's like, you know, you're grateful for the sunshine the first day. You know, you're grateful for the great weather, you know, and you can go through these things. And then, but I'll tell you, by even day 4, you're kind of stretching yourself and going, wow, I'm grateful, you know, that I have fingers and toes. I mean, it gets really, you get really, really tiny, and you get really pinpointed when you start to try not to repeat yourself. But 5 things, unique things every day for 3 weeks. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to do that, if that just kind of goes, you know what, that's crazy, Terri, I don't want to do it. The other thing is to, when you write your gratitude out, is to write the word because after it. So what I found for myself with gratitude is I would do a to-do list. I was very good at like saying one word, like I'm grateful for my daughters, I'm grateful for my husband, I'm grateful for my cat, I'm grateful for blah, 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 blah. And then if I took the time to figure out why I was grateful for them, boy, did that make me pause and think, oh yeah, I'm grateful for my cat. Oh God, why am I grateful for my cat? Oh, yeah. Because she brings me lanternflies. Yes, she does. She brings me lanternflies into the house, and they're still alive. So yeah, I'm so grateful for her for doing that. Oh, Jesse, you can do it. You can still keep up with it. Every day's a new day. Just start again. Always an opportunity. So that because if you are like, I'm already into the gratitude mode, adding the word because after it and the reason is always a great way to just raise that gratitude. And also another way to think about gratitude is, if anybody follows Esther and Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction, love them. Woo, I love them. She talks about, instead of gratitude, using the word appreciation. And she talks about appreciation because appreciation, if you think of it in financial terms or in the world, wealth world, it means abundance. It means creating abundance. It means increase. So if you look at appreciation, you're creating an increase. Yes, lantern flies are an invasive species, aren't they? They're horrible. So we want to increase our world through gratitude. So she uses appreciation instead of that. That was your first thing, was gratitude. The second thing, I know a lot of you are young living representatives, and I applaud you on this great community. I am learning more about oils and their impact from this community, because I'm a novice. This is my, I don't know, but Denise, how long have we been talking? Maybe 2 months. So I am newbie. I'm a newbie to the team. So I'm very grateful that I'm learning all this stuff. But as you're out and about, I've been in sales for many years, and I know how sometimes uncomfortable it can be to have conversations with people when you're trying to represent your product or what you do. What I recommend to anybody who is in this industry, you are in it because you are passionate. You are in it because you were introduced to something in this. It solved a problem for you. You know, for Sarah Paul, it was her son's health, and the oils provided a solution for her, and she's very passionate about it. For Denise was introduced it through Sarah Paul, and she was introduced through the cleaning solution. So it was a cleaning solution. So no matter what brought you to it, but the impact it had on you is what you need to lead with anytime you have a conversation. Sometimes we get so caught up in the details of everything. I mean, you guys, the amount of oil solutions, the amount of products that you have, the CBD, the da-da-da-da-da, you have so many things for people. It's almost overwhelming and you don't know where to start. So I want to encourage you to start with your passion. Start with what brought you here, and that energy that you have will be transferred to the person you're talking to. And with that, you will then be able to have a dialogue, and you'll be able to then find out where you need to lead them. But if you lead with that, that will be your best way to start a conversation and get people involved. So lead with that.
Thank you so much, Terri. I know I've just been putting frankincense on I put it on my face like 10 times a day. So anyway, I don't necessarily recommend that, but I really love that. So yeah, maybe I do recommend it. All right, Terri, I love what you said. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story then too. But I want to know if anyone has specific questions for Terri. Like, say them or put them in the chat. Don't be shy, because I know some of you are looking at me, and those that I can see are like, okay, really? That simple? Like, I don't know, gratitude. Okay. First, I wasn't a huge believer in gratitude until I maintained a consistent practice. And I'm going to share with you some intimate things that I have not even shared with my family yet tonight, to just show you how much I believe in a practice of gratitude. And yes, every single day. It takes not much time at all, but it is extremely valuable in my opinion. Renee asks, how do we stay consistent? I struggle so much with it. Can you give me any tips?
Well, yeah, it depends on what the consistent is. So if it's finding the time to do something, there's time blocking. Okay. So a lot of people, especially mothers and people who with families, we basically allow our families to create our schedules, and we kind of fill in later on. we kind of go, okay, this is what the family needs. And then we go, oh yeah, we're going to kind of squeeze in something here. Yeah, I can squeeze in a walk here. I can squeeze in something for myself here. And I encourage you to fit in time for yourself. I remember being very envious of my husband because he always carved out time for himself. There was always, like, he always did. And I always felt like I was the one picking up all the pieces. Like, I'm the one who was holding everything together. And I did not feel like I was giving myself anything. Well, if you don't take time for yourself, you're not able to give to others because you are just draining your resources and you're not filling yourself with anything of value. So you need to take whatever time that is. If it's a walk, yes, self-care is so, so important. So with consistency, what I would recommend is trying to block out a piece of your day for whatever action that is. So if you're not a morning person, don't get up early. I mean, I can tell you to get even 15 minutes earlier will make a difference. If you block out that time and just start your day with a couple stretches, something, if it's something for your business, sending out those emails to people to make that contact, and then you can go about your day. It doesn't need to be a lot of time, but do a block of time consistently for yourself for whatever activities you want to do. And you have to be committed to it. The easiest thing as a mom to do is be distracted by what the family needs are. So you're aware of that, but there's kind of dead times in the day, and I hate to tell they're dead times, but there are times in the day. When my kids were young and they were at home, I found for me that it was easier for me to squeeze it into my work day during that work day hours, as opposed to during the home hours. When I was home, I really felt I was at the mercy of my family. But if somehow I could do it over lunchtime, I would do it at lunchtime. If I could take a couple, minutes here at work and just fix it, I would do that. So I used to squeeze extra things in during those work hours or right before or after work. So it wasn't intruding on my at-home time. Oh, Renee, gotta have that question. When you're balancing, when you're sharing the workload like that, and you're full-time on because your spouse is working, that is another challenge. And we can talk about that. I'm going to put my access to my calendar in the chat room. And what that will allow you guys to do is, with Sarah, Paul, and Denise inviting me on, I'd invite any of you to schedule a quick 30-minute. We can figure out where you're stuck, and we can just get you on the right path really quickly in a 30-minute chat. So I welcome any of you to do that. So I will quickly, as I'm doing this.
Yeah, perfect, Renee. I was just going to ask you to please share, because I know that, everyone's situation is different depending on if we're work from home moms, if we're stay at home moms, if we're working, stay at home moms, if we're working moms, if we're single moms, if we're maybe not moms yet, or not moms at all, if we're fur baby moms, if we're, we all have different situations.
Mm-hmm.
But what it comes down to, I love what you said, places to get started. So Terri has her information that's right in the chat. You can feel free to just copy that down. She has her email on there as well. And for her to offer a 30-minute chat, I think is so sweet. So thank you so much for that, Terri, because I know that, if you are on this call, it's for a reason. So I would take advantage of that. I'll be taking advantage of that.
I know, not till December though, Sarah. I know that.
yes, not till she reached out to me the other day. I'm like, I can't talk until December. Will you please call me in December? And she's like, okay.
It's in my calendar. It's in my calendar.
Awesome. Perfect. But, yes. So this is, yet another resource. Terri is another resource for you. And if you have been struggling and you have been stuck, why not give it a try? So I want to thank you, Terri. I do. I also don't want to keep you. I know that Sarah Stutzman and I are planning to chat a little bit more as well. You are welcome to stay on the call if you want, or you are welcome to bid us adieu and go on with your evening, because I know that you are a very busy woman as well.
Oh, you are so sweet. You are so sweet. And I just want to quickly, I know you guys are going to be, oh, you're so welcome. I've really enjoyed this. I hope you found even a nugget or two that really can help you move forward. And I know all of you have unique situations, and I hope you take advantage of a quick conversation, because sometimes that will be just having somebody to bounce an idea off of is sometimes that's all you need in order to get back on the road to wherever you were going to go. I am going to jump off, but I love the Sarahs. Sarah, I heard you speak that you were my first entree into this community, and you did such a fabulous job. So it was great. And you look like you have a halo around you. So it's just like this moment that I love over there. So, and thank you, Sarah. Paul, you've been awesome. Denise, thank you again too.
Thank you so much, Terri.
Thank you so much, Terri.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Take care.
So we have just about 15 minutes left. And I feel like I'm going to share a little bit from my heart with you. For those of you who know me, know that this is just how I share in general. I curse a little. I don't plan to do that tonight, but I might. I'm just letting you know. I curse, I say inappropriate things. I just kind of have no filter at all. And I always share like openly and honestly. So I just thank you for coming on this call. And I'm going to share based on exactly what you just said, because what I promised to you is that Sarah and I would briefly share how we went from teaching full time to now, running thriving businesses from home. And that's truly what we're doing. We are doing amazing things, and it's from, a teaching background. And I know I wanted to share about a little bit, and I'm just going to give you a little snippet because literally we have 15 minutes, but I'm going to base it on exactly what she talked about. I'm going to piggyback on those two things that she gave you just to prove or give you a little bit more meat behind that. Okay. I have been with Young Living for 3.5 years. I am a solid gold baby, and I feel so good saying that because that was not always the case, but I am solid gold, and I am proud of that. And that's for a lot of reasons, but I feel good because I was stuck for a long time. Okay. Y'all probably didn't know that, but I was. Okay. And I'm going to share with you a couple things that changed that for me. One of them, if we go back to the gratitude, her number one, that is huge, because one of my core beliefs that I believe in, like about life, and I hope that you just really take this and chew on it and sit on it and think about it. Okay. If you are not a good steward of what you have, you will not be blessed with more. Okay. And that is with any of the things. So right now, if you feel as though your time management is out of control and you are unable to do all the things, until you get that in check. Okay. And I also say things with love. I'm red. I'm an Enneagram 3-2. I like yell out of love. So I apologize if I'm too much like that, but I'm very passionate. Until you get that in check. Okay. You're not going to be able to do anything else. And I'm not saying that you have to necessarily, but yeah, you gotta prioritize. You have to. You cannot do all the things well. You can't. You can do many things. However, you're not going to be able to do all of the things well. So when it comes to gratitude for me, for a while, my paycheck was like stuck. And I'm going to talk to you like straight business. My rank was stuck. My paycheck was stuck. My OGV was stuck. And I was like, what the heck? Like, I am consistent. I am passionate. I am doing all the things. But there were some things that were missing. One of them was gratitude for what I had. Consistent gratitude for what I had. I started every single day before I get out of bed, I mentally list 5 things that I'm grateful for every day. I do not allow myself to get out of bed unless I list 5 things. And they are specific, like extremely specific, just happened within the past 24 hours. Then I go downstairs, I roll out of bed before anybody. And this may sound like a horrible thing to you because you're not a morning person. Okay. And that's okay too. Like Terri said, don't feel like if you are not a morning person, it's not going to work. Then you got to shift it and be a night person. Okay. Or be a afternoon person, or be a sometime person, 10-minute person. And then I go downstairs. I choose to do this in the morning because it works for me and my schedule. I wake up earlier than everyone in my house, even though my child still wakes up usually at the wee hours of the morning and rolls into bed with me. And I'd much rather just lay there and cuddle him. I roll out of bed, literally, because I don't want to wake him. So I roll out of bed like I'm a ninja, and I like roll across the floor like this. And I like really, close the door, and I run downstairs because I know he's like not far behind me. Not running. I'm not like shutting the door in his face, but I know he's going to wake up in like 10, 15 minutes. And I write down those 5 things. I do that every morning. And then I write down 10 goals that are going to happen in the present tense, like they already happened. And I sat and I like evaluated these things. Like, these are big, scary goals that I have for my life. And this is like years out. And I write them every single day. I speak life into them. One of them is just, I am an exceptional mother and wife, if I have to be real with you.
Mhm.
That's one that I speak life into every day. Because how many times as a wife or a mom do you not feel exceptional in those roles? Okay. So that's one of them. They're not all like business goals. In fact, a lot of them are just personal things. I do that every day. And when I started that practice, because one of the things that I wanted to do was obviously achieve a solid gold rank, because I wanted to move up with my company. I really just want that retreat, and I'm cool with that. And I also would like a little bit more money, but I like to travel. So that was what I was motivated by. However, I wasn't giving gratitude into what I already had, in the members that I had, into the leaders that I had, into the OGB that I had, into the experiences that I had, because I was just wanting more. And why was I wanting more? I just want a trip. So I had to change that perspective to really my passion, which is your why, which I know some of you are like rolling your eyes nicely. Like, yeah, why, gratitude, blah, blah, blah. I heard this all before, right? Like, why? Some of you are thinking that. You're not going to say that because you're too sweet. But some of you are like really thinking that. You're like, passion. Okay, I'm passionate. Well, maybe you're not so passionate. Maybe you got to rethink that one, okay? Seriously, like, you have to go back to what brings you joy, which again sounds like one of those things. But I had a heart-to-heart talk with Sarah Stutzman. I was like, girl, what on earth? She's like, you're doing it. You're doing all the things. But like, what do you enjoy doing? I'm like, well, what do I enjoy doing? And that's when I started this is a Thursday night, but those Monday night calls. And if you ever attend any of the Monday night sessions that we have, they're about random things that bring us joy. Literally. And people come and they love them. Why? Because we're passionate about whatever we're talking about. And they're pretty random. It's not like it's all about oils, guys. I just talked about emotions or motivation or whatever, healing trauma, weird, different things that just bring me joy. And your why, yes, Denise, it has to make you cry. Like, it can make you cry tears of joy thinking about it happening. It can make you cry really sad tears thinking about it not happening, but you have to bring it back to the passion, to that passion. And you have to do more things that you enjoy doing. If you are in your daily stuff and you are trying to grow your business, or you're trying to get wherever you want to go, and you are like hating the steps, you are hating the journey, even when you get there at that magical endpoint, you're going to be like, okay, what's next? You're going to be chasing that. And you're going to have no satisfaction from that, because the whole journey, the whole way, you were not grateful for it. And if you are not enjoying the journey and you are not doing more things that bring you joy along the way, then what is the purpose? What's the point?
Mhm.
So bring it back now. And what I want you to sleep on tonight is, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? I love talking about emotions. I love being real and talking about my past trauma. Why? Because it helps me to heal. It helps other people feel normal. A culture that stigmatizes things that I discuss. I talk about my sobriety, not because it's easy for me to do. I talk about it because it helps my healing journey and other people can relate to it or at least respect the vulnerability out of it. But I do it for me. And when I brought it back to what brought me joy, Renee's like, whoa, I'm sober too. When I brought it back to that, and I just focused on, what do I like to do? Screw if any of you like it. Not that I don't love all of you, but I don't care if you like it or not. I'm going to do me because it brings me joy. And I know that when I am doing things that fill me up, I emit this energy about me that other people are like, I want some of that. And I'm going to attract those people who are going to be positive forces on my life, right? And who are going to want to join me in the journey of where I'm at now. So my gratitude, one of them was really focused on, I wanted a new house, okay? I didn't want a flashy house. I wanted a new house with more land. And I have wanted this for years. But do you know what happened in that whole time? I walked around this house that I'm in now and was like, oh gosh, I complained about it, okay? I did not give any gratitude to this home, okay? Occasionally I would be like, I'm so happy that we have a roof over our head. But really I was complaining. I was wanting to improve upon it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't have that many people here. It's so small, all these things. Have any of you felt that way about anything, okay, that you're wanting to change? Okay, complaining. Well, guess what happens when you complain? Are you showing gratitude to what you have? No. Is God going to grant you more? No. So what happened to me, I was like, you know what? And I literally made the decision. I'm like, screw this. The house thing isn't happening. I am going to decide to just love where we're at. And I'm okay and I'm at peace and I'm happy with what we have and I'm grateful for it. And I truly changed my mindset about it. Guess what happened? We're moving. I have settlement next week. 11.5 acre property. Do not go and tell any of my family members yet. So I'm telling you this because I truly believe I had a dream of this house. I had a dream of the house that I'm moving to. And it's not like a castle or anything like that. It was a modest home with a wraparound porch. And I drove up to this house and I looked at Steve and I had tears in my eyes and I said, this is it. This is the house, Steve. I dreamt about this a couple nights ago. But the reason that it came and like truly manifested was because I made the decision to be grateful what I had and to be a good steward of what I had. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pull those weeds. You know what? I'm going to fix this broken thing over here. You know what? I'm going to be happy that and grateful that my family has this place. And then God said, you know what? You're ready. You're ready. Okay, so I'm sorry, Sarah, that I took up 12 minutes. You know, I talk too much. Passion, gratitude. When it pivoted in my business, do you know what happened? I talked to Sarah. She asked me to do more of what brought me joy. I had to sit and really think about that. I'm like, what the heck does bring me joy? Whoa, that was a moment for me. Okay, to be honest with yourself, what does bring me joy? Well, you've got to sit and think about that. What makes Sarah happy? Not what makes everybody else happy, what makes me happy. I started doing that. And then I also sat and was like, how can I connect with the people that I do have? And I sent them messages and I said, you know what? And this was right about March as well. I said, I am sorry. I have been maybe not the best leader over the past couple months. I was going through some stuff. And guess what? I'm back and I'm better than ever because I've been on a healing journey and I want to lead you and I want to guide you and I want to hold your hand and I want to know where you're at and I want to know where you want to go. And I want to tell you I'm here with you. And what happened? Some of the people on our team are here. They said, okay, I'm with you. And then what happened? all the things happened, the growth happened. Okay. But like, I just so believe that. Like, think about being a good steward. Okay. Also, with my money, I don't even want to really get into all those things. But if you are not being a good steward of the money that you're making right now, you're not going to make any more. I had to get myself in check, guys, girls. I would just say guys all the time, but I had to get myself in check. I had to know what was coming in. I had to know what was going out. I had to know where it was going. I had to know what my budget was. Okay. And you can do this. Bring it back to the points that Terri said today, because I truly believe in them too. I really, really do. Sarah, you have approximately 30 seconds. Go.
How do I compete? Oh my word.
It is not a competition. Put your blinders on and get your booty in the seat and ride on, girlfriend.
No, I love that. And I think that yes, we are of the same. Yeah, I'm an Enneagram 7 wing 6. So definitely not the same mold, but definitely maybe the same heart. And I am a dreamer, and I have that dreamer's heart ever since I was little. Like, I just knew, I don't know, there was just that hope, and that possibility was always within me. And there is something that is so powerful about the imagination. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. But here's the thing, guys, we can't live in the dreamer's world all the time. I'm going to say it again. We cannot live in the dreamer's world all the time. There has to be a season of doing. And so my husband and I just sat down, and we are in a place of stuck right now. Okay. And we've been talking about this for a while. Like, what is it? Why are we stuck? We're in this place of, I don't know, limbo. Like, we have everything we dreamed of. Okay. And now we're like, what's next? So you're going to get to this place of being comfortable and feeling comfortable, but feeling restless. Have you all like felt that? Anyone? Feeling, I see some of you saying, I don't know what brings me joy anymore. I see it. I don't know what brings me joy anymore, because you are in this place of comfort. You got to that place of joy. We got it, right? And then it's like you look around, and sometimes we sit on these yellow chairs on our front porch, and we look around, we're like, yeah, this is good. But what's next? What's next? Because when you get to this place of comfort, you stop growing. So you have to step back and say, okay, this was a season that was really good. Now it's a season of dreaming. So you have the dreaming season and you have the doing season. So I want you to take some time. This is my homework for you guys. Create a 5-year plan. I know you're probably like, 5 years? I can't even think about tomorrow, Sarah. Let yourself dream. The imagination is the most powerful thing that God has given us. Sarah, you curse, I cry.
We're quite the pair.
I know, even though the F word is my favorite word. I love Jesus, but
she always has little ones. She and I will be on Zoom calls together, and I'll be like letting it rip, and all of a sudden her, like, one of her kids goes through, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I need to not do that. Yeah, I cry and curse, Heather says.
So you have the imagination in you. When we are dreaming, we like, and then you're speaking it into being. Write it down. Write it down. And just the gratitude, those manifestations of what you want. If you don't write it down, I mean, we used to create these dream boards, and I don't know why we don't do this anymore. Like, just cutting out pictures. It's so generic and like weird, right? Like those dream boards and those vision boards. Do it, because then you have it and you can cross off what you've accomplished, not by your own ability, but I believe, like, when you're manifesting that, God is saying, okay, I'm going to give you more, because you are a wise steward of what you already have and what you're grateful for. And here's the other thing. I'm a dreamer. And so being around people that are negative and squashing your dreams and speaking negativity into you is just like, that is like, makes you feel this little. And how many of you then just want to like shut up, shut down, and don't want to do anything, right? When you have people speaking negativity over you, leave them. Surround yourself with people that pour into you, love you, believe in you. Okay, so sometimes that means letting go of those relationships, right? We talked about a lot of heavy stuff, right? But write it down. You have 2 seasons. You have a season of dreaming and you have a season of doing. When you feel stuck, I want you to be like, yes. Say it with me, yes, right? Because that means there's a growth season coming. That means it is time to step aside for a little bit, take time, dream, write it down. Listen. I listen to Bob Proctor almost every morning on YouTube. You can find like 7 minutes. I'm a busy mom. I'm curling my hair, putting my makeup on, getting ready to homeschool my kids, and I'm listening, and my kids are listening, right? 7 minutes. You can find 7 minutes. You can find 20 minutes. Find something, listen to it. Maybe Bob Proctor isn't your thing. Find someone that you or that resonates with you and listen. All right, start dreaming and then start doing, making phone calls, putting those things into action, whatever it is. For us, you know, we dreamed about putting a greenhouse in the back. I was on YouTube, or not YouTube, I was on Craigslist today searching greenhouses, right? Like, any greenhouses for sale? Like, things like, start doing those little things, searching, dreaming of it, and it's going to happen. All right. So seasons of doing, seasons of dreaming. Anything else? Sarah Paul.
I'll just yell more. So
my kids go, when
came down, he was like
these like Danny Johnson, Bob Proctor, these passionate people, they're like, Mom, why are they yelling? Like, they're passionate.
Yeah, and that's what Amber, like, you know, what you just commented on. You choose the language that you fill your brain with. One way or another, there's a degree of programming that's going on here, ladies, okay? You can choose to sit and have negative language fill your brain up. And like I had always said before, some of you cannot choose, maybe if there's some negative language that's going on directly with direct family members that you're hanging out with, but I'm not going to debate any of that, okay? But there are some things that are seemingly out of your control. However, like Sarah said, I do the same exact thing, and I have from the start of my journey. I listen to all of the positive anythings that I can in any little crack of time, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, taking car rides. I listen to Gabrielle Bernstein constantly. She is one of my faves. I love her. I listen to all of her audiobooks, and it's all working on mindset. So most of the things that I work on are mindset things. Bob Proctor, very much mindset things. And you can really just, you are a sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with most. You are. Your thoughts are. Okay? You do not need to actually really in real life know those people. Gabrielle Bernstein is one of my people. Okay? That might sound stalkerish, but I'm cool with that. I listen to her all the time because she pours into my heart. If you do not have the real tangible people yet, you can go and search out the people too. That is empowering, okay? Just like you want to kind of limit that negative talk, if you just start to fill up your life with as much positive talk as possible, positive people as possible, those negative people, words, things like that will just slowly kind of filter out too. You know, people will not come to you to complain about all of the things. because they know that your energy is way higher than it. I'm telling you. Not saying that a health event session, you know, I'm not being like absolute here, but I'm just saying like they won't bring it to you. They won't.
You're not listening to it. You're not, yeah.
You're not entertaining it.
It's higher than that. And you're going to start to hear people's excuses, and you're going to be like, oh, wow, I used to talk like that, you know, and you just hear it and you let it go and you don't let it affect you. A lot of times in business, we hear, oh, I can't afford that. I don't have the time for that right now. That's a negative mindset. And that's something you have to grow into. We all, I'm sure Sarah and myself and all of you either think that or you have thought that. And those are things that you're going to hear. You're going to hear the way that you may have thought before or talked. And it's like, wow, once you get out, you know, it is constant mindset training that we work on.
Absolutely.
And it resonates not just through our business, but through our family as well. So that's the one thing I love about this business. It's not just bringing in an income for our family. It has completely changed the way that we think, talk, and act in every way, and the way that we are raising up our children.
And that's
so
a
beautiful generational thing. It is absolutely. We are changing generation. So it's 9:10 already. Wow, I feel like we can,
guys.
But thank you all. Are there any questions? If not, I mean, you can always reach out to us. Yes, Denise.
I just want to encourage everyone to, and I don't know, Sarah, how you could put it out there, but listen to Bob Bliss. That's his name, right?
Bob Proctor.
Richard.
Yes. His latest thing about Young Living and what's happening. This company is so amazing, so transparent. It is pivoting big time. And I love where it's going. And it is like, we have what people need. And we have everything we need for our home right now. We don't need a whole bunch of new products. Don't need all the bells and whistles. We have so much. And I'm just so grateful for it. And now we can move forward, focusing back on education and sharing with people that we have what they need and why they need it. And just continuing the education and the passion and the gratitude for what we have, because we have something that is not in any other company. So I just had to say that, because so many negative things are floating around and so many, you know, what's happening, but it's really all good, because Young Living is like, they're taking a step back and they are just re-examining everything. And I just love that about this company, because they're just humble and they're real.
Yeah.
Thank you, Denise. And I shared the website, www.ylsalesgrowth.com, for the video that Denise is referencing to.
Yeah. And you're right, Denise. Every business goes through a season of growth. Whether you are a brick and mortar, you're an MLM, you're a big corporation. I mean, every business does. Every business has to rebrand themselves. Every business has to adjust to the changes. And I'm excited. I was kind of like shocked with some of the things, but I'm like, no, this is awesome. It's one of those seasons of like, yes, we are going to have even more massive growth. I mean, we have to make these changes because of our growth. And so it's a good thing. You have to look at, Bob Proctor says, when you come up against a problem, don't look at it and complain. Look at it and say, ooh, how can I grow from this? Where is the growth and the change going to happen, right? So anything to add, Sarah?
No, thank you so much for joining us, ladies. We'll let you go. We hope that you have a wonderful night. If you have any individual questions, feel free to reach out to myself or reach out to Sarah or reach out to Denise. You can feel free to friend me on Facebook, any of us, and follow us on social media as well. And I hope to chat with y'all soon. I hope you have a good night.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Thanks, Denise.